Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. and the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations looking for the 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products that are taking us through the 21st century. As we move to 9 billion people on the planet by 2050, how are we going to take care of these people? How are we going to transport, move, and provide all the infrastructure that is needed to take care of 2 billion new people? That's right, 2 billion new people. That's an incredible number, and it's only a few short years away. We have a gentleman sitting beside me that has a, I don't know how you'd say this, Jerry, almost a family business, third generation as far as the vehicles and automotive, personal transportation. This is Gerard N. Murphy. He is called Jerry. He's the president, CEO of the Washington Area New Automobile Dealers Association,
nice to
known
see you
as
again,
WNADA. Glad to have you back. And he's also the producer of the Washington, as we call the International Auto Show, or the Public Policy Show. So Jerry, it's always good to have you.
Sam, it's great to be back.
Tell us a little bit about the history of WNADA. We know that you've been around for 3 generations, but it has really an esteemed history.
Well, WNADA goes back to just before the First World War, and 1917, and that was the dawning of the automobile business, not only in America, but around the world. And we were in the auto show business way back then. The Washington Auto Show started in Washington at the same time WNADA did. And here we are 95 years later, if that math is right.
No, that's absolutely incredible history. And I know that at that time you were in other areas. Now you're at the Washington Convention Center. But you've had various locations over the years. So where are some of the areas you have been? And then why the move to the Washington Convention Center?
Well, the Washington Convention Center is really the center of the hospitality industry in Washington, and the hospitality industry is married to shows like ours because we're a Tier 1 show in America and around the world on the global circuit. We're global industry circuit. We're up there with France and Frankfurt and New York. And Detroit.
Well, and actually Tokyo too, and I've been several times to the Tokyo show, and it's just incredible to see the tremendous sisterhood that you have around the globe as far as all these, as you say, Tier 1 international programs about the automotive industry and vehicles.
And the Washington Convention Center is a world-class facility, and we're the largest event that's in the center, and it's on 2 different levels, and it's got 3 or 4 different halls, and you need that kind of space, something on the order of 750,000 square feet.
Well, I'll tell you the unique thing about what you're doing, because you are the public policy show as far as the United States is concerned, and really one of those around the globe as far as setting the policy and discussing where the industry is going in the future. You actually are using the Capitol, you're using various buildings, both in the House and the Senate of the United States Congress. That's quite impressive to have that kind of footprint throughout the entire Capitol region.
Well, we are the public policy show because we're the only auto show venue in the world that has the U.S. Congress down the street. And the U.S. Congress, the federal government here, is the de facto partner of the global auto industry, for better or worse. So the industry wants to make sure that it's got open channels of communication with the regulatory structure of the federal government and, of course, members of Congress. So that's why one of our policy days is indeed down in the Cannon House office building this next week coming up. in the historic caucus room.
Well, the impressive part about that, I've attended 2 of these thus far, is the number of senators, members of the House of Representatives, but also the number of staffers that come in, and I watch them taking copious notes, picking up all the materials. So your message is certainly getting out there, and that's really what it takes. And I think this is, Jerry, as you know, you have to have this two-way flow of information. You can't make policy in a vacuum. You can't just be manufacturing a product in a vacuum. It's everybody working together. And of course, through the show itself, you're bringing the consumers in, getting their feedback as you change and ameliorate and develop new product.
Well, it gives a platform for conversations, important conversations, between the auto industry and the lawmakers, because the cars are regulated by the government in all kinds of ways, and it's important that those regulations of automotive design are real world, and that's what an auto show like ours provides a forum for them.
Now we're going to have some other guests on. We'll be talking about, the actual product and all that. But I think it's really critical because of your background, the number of years your family's been involved in all this, to talk about how you really help to shape, mold, but also enhance the decision-making process as far as the legislation concerning the vehicles that people are going to be using over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Well, as much as anything, you bring the industry to the lawmakers. Perhaps the epitome of our mission to be the public policy show was accomplished last year when President Obama came down for a visit, which he did on Auto Show Tuesday.
Yeah, I remember that. And in our Rotary Club, we had to say nice things about you for you being right there with the president. That was definitely a coup to have his participation.
Well, it was important to him, not just because he was in the middle of a campaign, but it's important for the leader of the free world to have a firsthand look at what's going on in one of the most important industries in the global economy, and the automobile business is that. We're the bright spot on the economy. We're the part of the economy that's working. Unlike some of the other sectors, like the problems that real estate has had, we're back to where we were before the recession hit in 2009, which is very important.
Well, keeping the show fresh, I know this is something that you and I talked about when we first met years ago now.
Right.
And the fact is new styling and new layouts. You incorporate entertainment, so you're really making this a holistic environment within which people to come in and experience and interact actually with the vehicles themselves and the salespeople, the representatives, but also at the same time to allow people to really understand the new technologies, which goes to this advanced technology SuperHighway, which is just an absolutely fantastic idea.
Well, with the Washington market being as affluent as it is, we came up with a concept this year to put all the luxury brands together, which we have, and that's reshaped the floor plan with us a bit. It's moved Toyota to the second level up with the Detroit 3. And you've got Cadillac, Lincoln, down with Mercedes and BMW, Acura, Infiniti, Jaguar. They're all down there. It's about 11 different lines. And then at the other end of the hall are the exotics. The Aston Martins, the Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces, the Bentleys, vehicles like that. And then of course, everything in between and more for the bulk of the automobile market.
Well, looking at the advanced technology SuperHighway, I think is just really a fantastic idea where you're actually not only just saying, hey, we're going green as far as the automotive industry is concerned. People, of course, are concerned about the green of price, but also they're concerned about the green of energy efficiency, about safety, and what they call info technologies and telecommunications. You know, really you have a rolling house in many of these automobiles today, and you're staying connected to the globe right in your car.
No, it truly is amazing. What you can get done in your car today. I mean, to such an extent that it can distract the driver, which is a whole other matter. But we've got the advanced technology highway. We've now turned that into a cafe, if you will, where there's going to be a host of experts that'll be in there to interact with the public and be able to direct auto show visitors to the various displays to see the state of the art in each display, as opposed to trying to grab up a little from each display and put it in yet another pavilion. We've got a nifty book that Warren Brown with the Washington Post has put together.
And Warren, let's put in a little plug for Warren. I tell you, he's been around for many years. He really is a true expert, and he really talks with a voice of authority as far as the automotive industry is concerned, the qualities, where it's going in the future, and it's a good partnership that you have with the Washington Post, and of course all of the media. But Warren is just a truly unique individual.
Oh, he is indeed. I mean, he's very highly regarded worldwide, with the automakers, and he's.
I need a job.
Necesito trabajo.
I would like to. The auto shows around the world for many years, and the automakers have him out and seek his counsel on things. So we're delighted to have him as one of the experts in this cafe.
Yeah, well, I tell you, there's a number of them out there. Looking at the economic impact of the show, you talk about this is the largest show that goes into the convention center. Something about the numbers, but also not only just the indirect, through hotels and restaurants and air travel and all those kinds of things. But what's the direct impact on the industry itself with all the 270 plus members you have of your association, and how that reverberates throughout the entire economy within the capital region?
Well, the metropolitan Washington automobile market is one of the strongest in the country.
And we only have about 20 seconds to finish.
And this auto show captures that and buoys it, and it does its part for keeping America strong.
I tell you, it's fantastic. Well, Jerry Murphy, President, CEO of WANADA, glad to have you here. Excellent job as always.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.
I need a job.
Necesito trabajo.
I would like to speak English better.
Me gustaría hablar inglés mejor.
I want to be a U.S. citizen.
Quisiera ser ciudadano de los Estados Unidos.
For over 35 years,
Por más de 35 años,
the Hispanic Committee of Virginia has been serving our community.
el Comité Hispano de Virginia ha estado sirviendo a nuestra comunidad.
Job training and placement,
Capacitación, ayuda para conseguir trabajo,
education for children and adults,
educación para niños y adultos,
immigration, naturalization, and medical referrals.
ayuda para los procesos de inmigración y naturalización y orientación sobre médicos
Are a small part of what we do.
son solo una pequeña parte de lo que hacemos.
For help, information, or to volunteer,
Para ayuda, información o para ofrecerse como voluntario,
contact the Hispanic Committee of Virginia,
comuníquese con el Comité Hispano de Virginia,
helping everyone participate more fully in American society.
ayudando a todos a participar plenamente en la sociedad norteamericana.
Hey, Lena, where's yours?
Would you notice if you were missing half your kidney function? According to the National Kidney Foundation, 20 million people have chronic kidney disease, and 20 million more may be at risk and not even know it. Anyone with high blood pressure, diabetes, or family history of chronic kidney disease is at risk. Early diagnosis is vitally important. To get the whole story, talk to your doctor and visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org or call for a free brochure. Because when it comes to chronic kidney disease, you might not know the half.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
We may not have enough. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations looking for the 1,000 best practices that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. As we urbanize the planet, we go from 54% of people living in urban areas to 70%. This is certainly changing the mix as far as the personal conveyances, the vehicles that are moving people within these urban areas, and how we're going to balance this new urbanization and take care of all those that live in more rural and remote areas on the planet as well. We have an expert sitting with me that has a number of years of experience in the automotive industry. This is Charles S. Stringfellow Jr. He is CEO, Executive Director for Brown Automotive Group and the PEST Chair, and still very active with the Washington, as we call the Public Policy Auto Show. Charlie, welcome back.
Thank you, Sam. It's good to be here.
And Charlie really is the voice of wisdom as far as the automotive industry is concerned, and it's just always good to have you out and to be a young fellow that's been involved for so many years. It's amazing how progressive you've really been over these years as far as the automotive industry. Tell us a little bit about the auto show and how that really sets the stage, if you will, for the consumers, but also this interaction, consumers, industry, and government.
Well, that's a loaded question. As Jerry mentioned, the auto show is the public policy show on the world auto circuit. And this is the confluence of Washington and Detroit, or Detroit and the rest of the world. So what better place to showcase all of the latest technology from the manufacturers at the Washington Convention Center, within not quite walking distance, but certainly metro distance from the White House and from Capitol Hill. And it's a great venue for the policymakers to come and actually see what the manufacturers are doing. And it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us.
It's really a very progressive attitude and philosophy. I know that the auto show, this is really the third generation going all the way back to World War I, so we're almost at 100 years. But it's going down year to year. It's just amazing how progressive the show itself, how everything is laid out, how you're really sharing the newest technologies. What goes on with the board of directors and the key administrators to make sure that it stays fresh, that you're communicating properly among all these disparate groups, but at the same time, just make it fun?
Well, what you see at the auto show, a lot of hard work and a lot of travel and a lot of communication goes into preparing the show. Jerry Murphy and the president of the show, Robert Fogarty, and others on the committee travel to the other auto shows, meet with the manufacturers' representatives, and make sure that we have the latest, the greatest, the best, and the brightest at the Washington show. And we continue to reiterate and emphasize the importance of the Washington show for the public policy segment. And at the same time, of course, we don't want to forget the public. The other main reason for the show, of course, is to bring the public out to see all the new products that are available in the market.
Well, looking at the show too, I mean, you want to get the feedback from the customers, make sure they get in and the proverbial kick the tires and see all the latest models and all that. So they actually are becoming part of this process of developing the new product. And I think both what you're doing as far as Wanata is concerned, and then also with the manufacturers, is that you really are engaging the public instead of just saying, this is what we're going to sell you, is that what is it that you really want to buy?
Well, in addition to having the products available from the manufacturers that are available in the showrooms today, the manufacturers bring the concept cars, which is another way of saying it's a trial balloon. The car is there, everybody gets to see it, and it's a chance for the manufacturer to get feedback from the public about what they like or what they don't like about the vehicle, and then a lot of that is incorporated into new products that find their way into our showrooms and ultimately into people's garages.
Well, being CEO, executive director, I mean, your concern, one, is being sure you're meeting the needs of your customers, your clients, but at the same time, you know, you're really there to help to advance the organization. You have a number of different brands that the Brown Auto Group is responsible for. How does the show directly relate to what it is you're doing day-to-day, bread and butter, and how does this all mix and make it so important that you would invest a tremendous amount of time, energy, but also finances into making the show the very best it can be?
Well, the show showcases the best of the manufacturers from around the world, with over 16 acres under roof, 700 models from 42 manufacturers.
You want to say that again? Those are big numbers.
700,000 square feet, I did the math, 16 point some odd acres, 42 manufacturers from around the world, and over 700 models on display, all in one place in a user-friendly environment. Great family fun, great entertainment to get out, to see the cars, to kick the tires, as you say, to get brochures, to sit in the cars, to smell them, to do whatever. At the same time, it's a non-confrontational environment where you can shop everything, from an Audi to a Volkswagen and every brand in between. From the high end to the low end in the pricing spectrum. And then from that, you can then make some decisions and then go visit the cars in many of the showrooms here in the DC area, not just the Browns, although we would prefer people come to see us, and we represent most of the brands that will be on display, but it's just a great opportunity for the industry, for the dealers in the Washington area, and for the public.
Yeah, looking at the manufacturers themselves, let's get to the technical side of this. How are they actually utilizing a show such as yours, the Washington Public Policy Auto Show, to be sure that they're really meeting the needs of the public, but also planning for the next 5, 10, 20 years as far as their manufacturing base, the investments, and having the very best technologists within their own organizations to make sure all that then is being actually put into the automobiles themselves?
Well, Sam, as you know, we are moving towards a greener environment on many fronts, the automobile sector being just one of them. The corporate average fuel economy in 2016 is going to 35.5 miles per gallon. The cars sold in 2012 averaged 23.1 miles a gallon.
That's a huge leap.
It is a huge leap, and in 2025 it goes to 54.5 miles per gallon. So there will have to be a lot of innovative thinking, a lot of outside the Dodge thinking in order to get there. We're already seeing more fuel efficient engines, we're seeing lighter vehicles with more composite materials, and we're seeing smaller vehicles at the same time in order to help meet those requirements, at the same time without sacrificing performance or safety. And also incorporated into that, was mentioned earlier, is the information and the entertainment that is now part and parcel of everybody's daily life. So the manufacturers are incorporating that, and at the same time making sure that the vehicles have driver awareness features in them to help keep the driver focused on his or her task of driving the vehicle and not tuning the radio, texting, or some of the other things that have become quite problematic in our society today.
Well, the whole thing about this, Charlie, is of being able to voice activate almost everything within the automobile, so you can be doing all these things simultaneously. I know people say you can't really do more than one thing, multiple tasking, but I think most people as they're driving are proving that you certainly can do that. And with the technology you have, one of the key focuses is on safety. Tell us a little bit about those safety features, and then how does that relate into the styling, because it's the very most advanced aerodynamic styling that we've seen in a number of generations, probably.
Well, the styling, of course, is to appeal to the public and at the same time become more aerodynamically efficient, which of course improves the economy. As far as the safety features, most cars now, and certainly in the future, will probably have sensors in the front and rear bumpers to help alert the driver when he or she is about to hit something. Many of the cars now have rear view cameras, and there's some talk on Capitol Hill that they'll mandate those into all cars. You have side view mirrors that have sensors in them now to alert you if there's a driver in your blind spot. And now a lot of the cars have many of the controls built right into the steering column or right on the wheel, so that you never have to take your hands off the wheel in order to engage some of the various things that you might need, from turn signals to wipers to the paddle shift in some of the cars to the radio controls, cruise controls, and wipers and other things, all right there in the steering wheel itself.
Now, looking at the technologies, I know that your reconfiguration, you have the exotics, you have the very high-end vehicles, but even in those, there's a real emphasis on fuel economy to reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emissions from these various vehicles. So you're really having this balance, which is what Emerald Planet's all about, between the environment and the economy, to make sure that you're giving what the product wants as far as style and comfort and all that, but at the same time to make sure that we're really not only just protecting the environment, but actually trying to enhance what's going on with the environment and climate change.
Well, there was a time years ago, Sam, when the manufacturers did not meet the fuel standards, and they were slapped with a gas guzzler tax. So a lot of manufacturers just said, oh, okay, we're not going to sacrifice performance or sacrifice this or do some other changes to meet the economy. So they paid a gas guzzler tax, which of course was passed on to the consumer. Not anymore. Now the manufacturers of these high-end cars are going into very exotic composite materials, aluminum. A lot of some of the cars, I know Jaguar and Audi, have aluminum body panels, aluminum frame panels, and other lightweight composite, lightweight materials replacing the steel. And they're becoming more weight conscious and therefore more efficient in their operation.
Well, we only have about 25 seconds left, Charlie, so we need to go out on this. What do you see as far as the future, the expansion, as far as the advanced technology, SuperHighway, for people to learn about the very latest and best as far as green automotive products?
Well, I think we'll see cars becoming more fuel efficient. We'll see more alternative fuel vehicles in order to get there. They'll be lighter, they'll be smaller, and they'll be very interactive, perhaps combining the car and what you have at home at the same time. So it'll be one fully integrated system.
Well, Charlie Springfellow, thank you very much for being with us. He's the CEO, Executive Director of the Brown Automotive Group, past chair of the Auto Show, and thank you for being with us on the Emerald Planet.
Art, a universal language, an expression of culture, of self. And now, thanks to Empowered Women International, a way for emerging and established immigrant and refugee artists and artisans to find hope to earn a living while enriching the lives of all of us. Empowered Women International, making a better America every day. For more information on Empowered Women International's educational programs, or to make a tax-free donation, contact cfripp@aol.com.
You'd think it would be easy to tell which kids have trouble with their eyesight. But that's not always the case. Even though 1 in 4 children may have a vision problem, eye doctors tell us the symptoms aren't always so obvious. We do know that 80% of all childhood learning is visual. And without good vision, kids can have trouble learning to read and may fall behind in school. For clues on how to spot the real-life signs of childhood vision problems and what parents can do, visit checkyearly.com. A public service message from the Vision Council of America and Reading is Fundamental.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States, looking around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for the technologies, the products, and the services that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. As we've talked about in earlier broadcasts, the world is rapidly urbanizing, going to 70% of the world's population living in central cities and very large, what they're calling mega cities, over 10 million people. There should be about 300 of those coming by 2050. And also we're adding another 2 billion people. And so the gentleman said beside me is applauding that whole thing, the thing about all these new consumers that'll be coming in as far as his automobile dealerships are concerned, and the Washington Area New Automobile Dealers Association. This is Kevin Patrick Riley. He is the vice chair and director for the Washington, what we call the Public Policy Auto Show. And also he's the president of Alexandria Hyundai. And Kevin, welcome back.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. Happy New Year to you, and thanks for having me back.
It's always good to have you here, and I learned a whole lot more about this young man. He's been with us before, and learn about all these accolades. So sometime we'll have you on and just talk about all your academic background of being a lawyer, an MBA, and a number of other things, and yet you're still running your own automotive company and very involved with WNATA. That's an amazing background.
Absolutely. Like to keep busy.
Well, that's a good thing. But looking at being vice chair of the show, and you're going up to chair, and it's a number of years you're moving through this process of doing that, what is really the importance of having this really a truly international auto show in Washington, D.C., and having the public policy aspect of that?
Well, picking up on your last point, the public policy aspect is critically important to the direction of the show, and I give former chairmen like George Doach, Charlie Stringfellow, who you had on earlier, John Orsman, Robert Fogarty. They really have guided the show in a way that quite frankly wasn't there back in the 1990s, and that is the public policy show, and that is bringing industry, media, and policymakers together in a way that shapes essentially the cars that we'll be driving 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Well, looking at that, I mean, it must be exciting. Yes, you have your own automotive company, you're representing Hyundai and a number of other brands in this area, but actually to be setting the policy for the next 50 years, you know, not only for the United States, but for the world, that's a monumental task.
It certainly is a monumental task, and what it's about is bringing information, bringing people and information together in a way that helps them make good policy and helps them understand really the choices that we have. And I'll give you an example of that. You know, as we take a look at sustainability, you know, is electric the only answer? And quite frankly, the answer to that is no. It's a more holistic solution. So we're going to take a look at hydrogen, biofuels, hybrid technology. So it's very exciting when we bring all that information and the people together to discuss and debate that.
Well, the whole thing is what you're really doing through this is you're bringing the consumers, the manufacturers, everybody together in all this, and you're allowing them to participate and to know what is really going on in the industry itself, and at the same time is to allow this feedback in real time. And I think that's something that's quite unique. And to think that people are coming in, they're bringing their families, they're having a good time, they're listening to music, interacting with the automobiles, but yet they're helping to set policy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, without question. And when we talk about the public policy show, really first and foremost, in terms of our vision, is to make sure we provide a wonderful show for the Washington area consumer. People who are coming to the show, the hundreds of thousands of people that attend the show, we want them to see the best the automotive world has to offer.
Well, I don't know if we've been able to bring up some of these slides of these automobiles, but if we can get the slides to come up, not be able to do that. Anyway, going on as far as the day-to-day operation of your organization, you're investing a lot of the 3 T's, time, talent, and treasure, in involving yourself in this really community outreach through WNATA and the auto show. And yet at the same time, it must be some feedback, some benefit as far as day-to-day with your own dealerships and others. How do you see this interface between the show, the dealers, and the public in the area that you're serving?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and they parallel each other. I mean, running a dealership very similar in some respects to running an auto show, and that is to serve the customer and provide a great product. With respect to the auto show, our product is over 700 vehicles from 43 different manufacturers all across the world. So if you're a car enthusiast, you're going to see the best that the world has to offer in the auto show. If you're a car shopper, it's a great use of your time. You can go to the auto show, compare all the makes and models, and find out and narrow your list as to which car that might interest you. And if you have a family like I do of 4 young children right here, the kids are going to have a blast.
Well, the whole thing is, I know that you've made it really interactive in the last several programs and shows that you've had, where, you know, Dad can put the kids in his lap, they can sit there and they're actually driving the car and they're going around these curves and up mountains and down slopes and all these other kinds of things. So you've really made it a holistic experience for every member of the family.
Oh, without question. I mean, certainly the children can go there. We have Dora the Explorer. We have different Super Y characters, things of that nature for the children to enjoy. But quite frankly, and being a father of 4, what the kids most enjoy is sitting behind the wheel of a brand new car. I mean, that's quite an interesting experience, and they have a lot of fun doing that.
Well, and also they like to get out and proverbially really do kick the tires, right?
That they do.
Looking at The Price is Right, I know this is something that you're really tying in with all the media, television, and radio and all that. How is it that, and this goes really to the question I had for some of the other guests, is how do you keep it fresh year in and year out so that, you know, you bring in new people, but you always want to have the ones that were there before to come in and enhance the experience they've had in earlier years?
Yeah, well, the auto show is about having fun. I mean, it has to be exciting, it has to be entertaining, and it has to be informative. And we really try to work on all different levels to make that happen. The Price is Right is a good example of that. Certainly have a chance to win a brand new car and a trip out to see the taping of The Price is Right.
I like that idea. Winning a brand new car. That's a pretty good incentive for people to come out and do that. But again, looking at this, keeping it fresh, this goes back to you as vice chair. The decision-making process you go through with the manufacturers, with your own board of directors, the officials of WNATA, how do you come to those decisions, or is it something that year in and year out is just like it's almost intuitive? You see what's happened, now we need to go beyond that.
Well, exactly. As an organization, you always take a look, what are we doing well and how can we do it better? And the Advanced Technology SuperHighway is a great example of that, because we had those cars in a particular area on the lower halls, and it was a great way for the customer to mingle amongst those cars and see different technologies. This year it's going to be a little bit different, and we think even better, and that is Warren Brown, one of the foremost automotive journalists in the world, is going to be in our Advanced Technology SuperHighway, and there we're going to have monitors there where customers can watch running footage on those monitors of safety technology, sustainability, a lot of different things there. And then Warren has created a guide, the Advanced Technology Guide for new vehicles, where they can take that guide and walk around to all the exhibits and see the examples of the great technologies we have to offer.
Well, there's another outstanding young man that we know about, and we're talking with in just a little bit, Ron Kogan with, you know, the Green Car Journal, and he's doing his own enhancements to that. So you got Warren, who is really the senior, almost the Don, if you will, of what's to know about automobiles and the reporting and news industry. And then you got Ron coming right along with, you know, his innovative idea. So this is really one of the ways that you're reaching to media, but again, it's allowing a ever-expanding collaboration.
Absolutely. And again, when you can inform consumers, that's a wonderful thing. And when you can bring industry, media, and policymakers together and get more information on the table, more debate, I think you come up with better decisions.
Well, looking at the interaction that you have, you know, with the members of the House of Representatives, with the Congress, and of course you have members of the various state houses in this area, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and Washington, D.C. itself. How do you think this allows, as a non-threatening environment, for people to discuss the various issues, help make decisions, but at the same time allow this consensus building process take place?
Well, and we as a show really try to facilitate that, and I'll give you an example. On Wednesday preceding the show, we have the National Journal Live Policy Summit over there at the Cannon House Office Building. And really that's going to be a great discussion about, and the topic is affordable mobility. And that is something we've seen all of these technologies come to the forefront, increasing MPG. However, can consumers really afford that? So now we're taking a look at bringing both those. How do we get better fuel efficiency, but at a cost that makes sense to consumers?
Well, looking at this whole notion of this balance between cost, safety, styling, and all of that, how do you think a show such as yours, and I know you travel around the world going to other shows in Paris and Tokyo and Germany and other places, how does all that then get folded into these automobiles so you actually do keep this balance between the economy but also the environment?
Yeah, and that is the balance. I mean, it is a fine balance and a fine tightrope that the manufacturers and policymakers walk. And I think really goes back to the issue of discussion right here and figuring out how do we balance these things. So I'll give you an example in terms of my holistic solution as we take a look at, you know, hybrid technology, electric technology, and then also the internal combustion engine, or ICE is for short. We've seen great advances in the internal combustion engine, raising fuel efficiency out there. So we have to really make sure that we're taking a look at all the technologies out there and moving, you know, our sustainability charge forward.
Well, you're looking at biomass, natural gas, LNG, hydrogen. You've just got all these different opportunities to really experiment as we move through. And then with the new composites, the new materials are going into it that allows you to reduce drag and weight and all these other kinds of things. So having the consumers, and we're almost out of time, but looking at all this as a balance, how does the consumer know we're really getting the best product at the very best price?
Well, that's choices. And so certainly, and that's what a show with over 700 models from 43 different auto manufacturers across the world, you know, you go there, you're going to have a lot of different choices. You're going to gather a lot of different data right there. And that's our job, to provide all this information in an entertaining and exciting manner. And we think we do a pretty good job of it.
Well, as vice chair, you know, you're always going to get slammed with one not tricky question, but a futuristic question.
Oh, great.
Where do you see the show going, say, over the next 5, 10, 20 years, and how you're bridging where you are now, not just the past, but where you are now and where you think the industry is going to go over this next 20 years?
Yeah, and that goes back to, you know, public policy. So, you know, what are the trends? What are we taking a look at? Certainly sustainability is number one, but also composites of the vehicles, because that's part of the way in we reach those sustainability goals that we have. So our job is to bring all that here and tell the manufacturers this is the place that you need to display your best.
Okay, well, thank you for being with us. This is Kevin Patrick Riley, Vice Chair of the Washington, what we call the Public Policy Auto Show, and President of Alexander Hyundai. And Kevin, it's always good to be with you, and a very dynamic, bright young man who's sharing with us the future of the automotive industry. And thank you for being with us as we come to you to look around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet.
She's had more than a dozen fractures. And in the next few years, she faces 2 major surgeries to strengthen her fragile bones. She's only 10 years old. Most people don't worry about fragile bones until late in life. For those with osteogenesis imperfecta, brittle bones are a concern throughout their lifetime. Find out how you can strengthen this child's future.
Diabetes is a killer. After I was diagnosed, I didn't feel sick, so I didn't listen to my doctor. Then it struck. I had a heart attack, then a stroke, and I was only 49.
Most people with diabetes also have high blood pressure and cholesterol, which can cause severe heart damage. In fact, 2 out of 3 people with diabetes die from heart disease or stroke.
Don't let diabetes destroy your life.
Call for your free diabetes survival guide. Choose to live.
To the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States. I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet and the Emerald Planet TV. And we're looking around the globe. We've added actually another country, so we're now at 144 different countries that we're looking at the best practices of the technology, services, and products as we move through the 21st century. And we're always looking at ways that we're going to enhance the life and the infrastructure to take care of 2 billion new citizens that will be joining the globe as we rapidly urbanize. And so we're talking about transportation and how to build the infrastructure of the vehicles that are going to be used as personal people movers, I guess they call them these days. And we have a gentleman who's been at this studying and researching and putting on shows actually around the United States and abroad, is Ron J. Cogan, who is the editor and publisher of the Green Car Journal. We've gotten to know each other through the Washington Public Policy Auto Show. Ron, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Okay, you're coming in a little sketchy, but anyway, welcome, and it's always good to have you.
Appreciate the invitation.
Well, hopefully we're coming through. We've got to do a little gain on you. But anyway, Ron, welcome to the Emerald Planet, and we look forward to having you soon back in Washington, D.C. Tell us a little bit about the Green Car Journal.
Well, Green Car Journal is titled it focuses on the intersection of automobiles, energy, and the environment. We watched the evolution of advanced vehicles since that time. First hybrids, electric cars, going through the 90s where there was test marking of electric vehicles, all the way to today when there's just a plethora of vehicles out there to choose from advanced gasoline and clean diesel to hybrids, battery electric, extended range electric, and so on.
Well, I think it's just fantastic, and actually with your background as far as the publications you worked with to establish your own and to expand at a very rapid rate and really provide excellent information for the buying public, but also feedback to the manufacturers and the policymakers on Capitol Hill.
Well, I think it's important that that legislators up on Capitol Hill hear the message about what's really going on, what's the most important, or that are gaining in the marketplace and gaining favor. So I like the fact that we do this with Washington, that we're doing a program there. We've been involved with the Advanced Technology SuperHighway and with the summits in the past. And I just think it's legislators get.
Well, looking at the work as far as Capitol Hill is concerned and the Public Policy Day, I know this is something that's very important, and it's not just important to the consumers and industry, but it really is important to the policymakers both in the Senate and the House of Representatives. And how do you feel like that such a forum as the Washington Auto Show allows the decision makers to really learn the issues, but also the challenges of providing this balance between having a good product, but also protecting the environment at the same time?
You know, I'm sorry, I'll have to repeat that because I'm hearing your technician's voice in the background, and I'm unable to hear what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, as far as the Public Policy Forum on Capitol Hill, how does that really allow the decision makers, not only the president, but also all members of Congress, to really learn what the issues are, but also what it goes into having this balance between having an appealing product for the consumer and at the same time protecting the environment?
There's a fine line out there in the way that Washington supports advanced technology vehicles and mandates higher fuel efficiency and encourages certain technologies like electric vehicles. In the midst of all this, always the market is going to choose the winners and the losers. So it's really important that that Washington listen to the industry, that they attend the Washington Auto Show. I mean, all of these technologies and these approaches are front and center at the show. And I realize that the show gets legislators there and their staff. I think it's really important. I think it's important that more and more recognize that they need to be there. This is the window to the future that they're seeking to bring about. The advanced technology vehicles, the high efficiency vehicles, the ones that are meeting ever higher fuel efficiency standards, decreased CO2, global warming emissions. So I really like the Washington Show because of its positioning and the fact that they can appeal to D.C. And D.C. has so much to do with regulation for the auto industry.
Well, looking at that, and of course also too, as far as the work that you're doing as a publisher.
I'm sorry, but I've now lost your sound.
Okay, well maybe we're back again. Looking at the work that you're doing, I was just praising you for the Green Car Journal and how you really are bringing the best information to the public, to decision makers, and also to the industry. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Green Car Journal and how you feel like it's continually repositioning itself as we go through the 21st century.
Well, I mean, clearly in very early years, it was all about fuels. It was all about emissions. And we saw in the mid-1990s how all of this focus was on zero emission vehicles, extremely low emissions. Then we saw years later, maybe within the last 5 or 6 years, so much of the focus has been on CO2 global warming emissions, and then it was high fuel prices. So all of these things have come together to bring a convergence of voices saying, this is what we want, this is what we demand in the cars of the future. We didn't used to see that. It was always emissions, it was always fuels. Now it's everything, CO2 emissions, along with tailpipe emissions, and ever higher fuel efficiency, addressing energy dependency. So we've seen this evolution over the years, and I think it's important to recognize that, and also that the auto industry has responded to that in very intelligent ways.
I have, as you know, in the studio with me, just in case we lose you, we've been having a few technical issues with the sound, but I've got Kevin Patrick Riley, who you know very well, the vice chair as far as the Washington Auto Show. And he's not just another handsome face sitting here. He's in case we lose you somehow. But I wanted him to go ahead and ask you a question, being the vice chair. He certainly has intimate insight and has been working to establish this policy day on Capitol Hill. Kevin, would you like to ask Ron a question, please?
Absolutely. Ron, first of all, it's great to see you. It was wonderful to see you out at the LA show, a great show in and of itself. However, we think DC has a lot more to offer, but we're a bit biased in that regard. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about the finalists for your award, and that will be announced at the DC Auto Show, and maybe pick out one or two of those and talk about maybe the technology that we see in some of those finalists.
Sure. Well, all 10 of the Green Park Technology Award offers something a little bit different than the next one. You know, we in early talks with the Washington show, we really understood that the unsung heroes of advanced vehicles are the technologies, the enabling technologies that allow them to achieve their amazing goals, whether it's fuel efficiency or CO2 emissions or tailpipe emissions, mitigating energy diversity, and so on. Well, it was a hard look to narrow it down to 10, to be honest, but our staff did that. And we identified finalists like the Fiat Multi-Air Technology, the Fisker Automotive EV-ER Power Plant, that's a plug-in hybrid or a plug-in electric hybrid extended range power plant, Ford EcoBoost, which gives 20% better fuel efficiency without sacrificing anything from any EcoBoost engine. Ford auto stop start systems, and those systems are used in hybrids as a matter of course. When you pull up to a stop, your engine shuts off in a hybrid and it restarts when you release the brake. Now Ford's brought that in an economical way to conventional vehicles. Ford Energy is also a finalist. Ford Energy is the power plant that makes a Ford hybrid, such as the Fusion hybrid, into a plug-in hybrid. And achieving really amazing fuel efficiency. Honda's Eco Assist, which is a system that helps drivers drive more efficiently, is one of our candidates. Mazda Sky Active, which is different from the other technologies. Mazda takes a long view of every system in a vehicle to optimize it, from lightweighting to rolling resistance to better engines, better transmissions, to achieve extremely high fuel efficiency without resorting to hybrid or electric power. Nissan Easy Fill Tire Alert is a system that's different than all the others. It makes it easy for people to understand when they have low air pressure in their tires, and low air pressure creates higher rolling resistance, which decreases fuel efficiency. You know, so we have a diversity of different finalists this year, and I think all are important, and it'll be interesting, I think, for everybody to see how this rolls out when we announce the winner.
Well, Ron, looking at what you're doing as far as your journal is very, very important, and we say thank you for doing this for the industry, for the consumers, for the government, and actually for the globe as far as the climate change is concerned. We're almost out of time. We have about maybe 40 seconds left. What do you see for the future, and how is journals reporting like yours having a real impact as far as changing the products available and changing the environmental friendly nature of vehicles?
Well, we've done Green Car Journalism, and that's to inform, entertain, but also to help move the bar forward. So we'd like to think over the years we've helped hold the auto industry's feet to the fire to get better and better with efficiencies and lower emissions. I see a lot of change in the works. Advanced electronics are becoming more and more important. So the integration of advanced electronics that not only offer infotainment and advanced safety, but also provide real-time traffic reports, so you can be steered away from traffic jams, so you get better fuel efficiency or not stuck in traffic. That's lower CO2.
Well, Ron, we're going to lose you because we're out of time. Thank you for being with us. Ron J. Cogan, who is the editor-publisher of the Green Car Journal, and Kevin P. Riley, who's sitting right beside me, Vice Chair. And we thank you for being with us as we come to you from Washington, D.C., as we create the Emerald Planet.